Hello everyone, it's Keira and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. So over the past 3 weeks we have had 6 races of the FIA Formula 2 Championship and it has well and truly started. The races have been absolutely amazing. I've really enjoyed it and I hope you have as well. So as we know, Formula 2 is one of the most competitive series in the world. I love Formula 2 so much, so I thought I would review the drivers so far on their performances this year. Basically like a mid-season review for the Formula 2 drivers. I know a lot of people follow me for my junior category content, so I thought this would be a good idea for me to give you my opinions on the drivers so far. I know a lot of them, I think like 5 of them are rookies coming from Formula 3, so it'd be really interesting to see whether they've done well or not, and just to give you my opinions on the drivers, whether they've done bad or good, because there has been a lot of drivers that I don't think have done very well. So I thought I would let you know my opinion on that and put them in a tier list. I think the tier lists are just amazing. They're just the best way to get my point across. I don't have to just sit here talking to you guys. You can actually visually see where I would put them and kind of give them a rank in a way. Obviously it's not like 1 to 20, they'll, you know, they'll all kind of be in the 5 slots or whatever. But anyway, I'm really excited to do this. I hope you do enjoy this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. But yeah, let's just get started on my tier list. Okay, so hopefully I've moved over enough. I always seem to accidentally not move over enough, but hopefully you can see the tier list here and I will just talk you through it. So the first slot is the number 1 and that is who I think is literally the best in the whole series. I've got You're Doing Amazing Sweetie. Also, if you can hear that, my chair is squeaking. It's not anything else. I've got You're Doing Amazing Sweetie, which is basically you are literally doing really well. I've got Doing Good, so you're doing pretty well. Nothing too amazing but nothing too shabby. I've got It's Not Going Well, as in you're not really having a great time. And I've got Stinker, which basically means you're having a really bad time. So I'm going to talk you through them and give you kind of my opinions, but at the same time I have got 22 drivers to go through and I don't want this to be a really long video. I just want to give you short and snappy answers. So first we're going to start with Sean GELAEL. So for Sean, I'm actually going to put him in Doing Good, and I know that this probably comes to a shock for some people because Sean isn't the best driver, but actually for him he's not doing too bad. I think if it was anybody else's standard I probably would have put him in It's Not Going Well, but actually for Sean it's not going too badly. So overall he's not doing too bad. He's actually 17th for the championship, which I thought he'd be a little bit higher, but he's kind of, that was kind of his peak, if that makes sense. But for Sean he's doing good. Okay, so next is Felipe Drugovich. I think it's Drugovich or Drugovich, I don't know which one, but Felipe, and I'm going to put him also in Doing Good. He's done pretty well. I think he kind of stole the show for the first weekend in Austria when he got his win, but since then he kind of hasn't done anything that good. He did get a 5th place in Budapest, but other than that I think some other races he like hasn't been scoring points, so it's not very consistent from him. But obviously he's a rookie, I don't expect like anything amazing from him, but you know, he's doing well but nothing amazing. Next we've got, I think it's Gulamir, no it's not Gulamir, it's like Guhamaya Samaya, no I can't, oh my gosh, I'm actually battering his name. Guhamir Samaya. And I'm going to put him in Stinker. Sorry for messing up your name, by the way. Alex Jakes keeps saying it differently, so I literally have no idea. But Samaya, not impressed me at all. But to be honest, I really didn't expect him to impress me, to be completely honest with you. He hasn't scored any points at all. He's not had a good start of his FIA Formula 2 career. He has been making silly mistakes and spinning a lot. And yeah, just not very good. The next one is Artem Markelov, and I'm putting him in Stinker, and I'm so upset because if you are a longer Formula 2 fan, if you're not new to the sport, you will know how good Artem Markelov is. He's an amazing driver. I arguably think he should have been up in Formula 1 already, but he unfortunately isn't. But Artem is such a good driver, and he just had, I don't know what's going on, but he's just had an absolute awful start to the season. Like he's just done awful, and I don't even have an excuse for why he's done so bad, but it's just been really bad. And obviously it was so nice to know that he was coming back to the sport. It was so nice to have, you know, all this Artem Markelov comeback story after he left the sport with Russian time. But it just hasn't come together for him. He makes silly mistakes. He's always at the back and it's just not where I expect Artem to be. So next is Guan Yu Zhou, and I'm going to put him in Doing Good. He's not in You're Amazing Sweetie because he hasn't done as well as I thought he was going to be. Now, I really bigged up Joe. I think most people bigged up Joe because he's such a good driver, but he honestly hasn't done that much so far. Like, he hasn't done anything that stands out. His highest place was the sprint race in Austria where he was 4th, but he hasn't actually had a podium yet, and I believe he is good enough to do that. I know how much of a good driver he is. I know how much he deserves his place in the Renault Driver Academy. I know how good he is just in general, but it's not coming together for him so far. So I mean, he's doing good. He is doing good. He's got some good points on the board, but nothing amazing. So next is Yuki Tsunoda, and I'm going to put him in it's not going well, because as much as he got that 2nd place in the Styrian feature race, and he was basically, well, should have won that really, which would have been amazing, he's actually scored no points since then. So he's actually not done anything else, and I expect, I don't know, I think a lot of people, if they didn't watch Formula 3 last year, they saw that and they kind of gave him an expectation that he should be doing that every week, and he hasn't done that. But I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just, it's not going that well, and especially having that hype of getting that 2nd place, you know, I kind of hoped that he would have done a little bit better, but no points other than that. Okay, so the next one is probably the one that upsets me the most, and it is Marcus Armstrong, and I'm going to put him in it's not going well. And that breaks my heart, because he's my favourite. I'll openly say he's my favourite. But it's not going well. It's really not going well. He's kind of been running like P10 type thing, like he's been running around that area, but he's not done anything amazing. The best result he got was P2, and that was in race 1 in Austria, but other than that, he's really not done anything that good, and it's so upsetting because I know how much of a good driver he is. Like, I would literally back him in any situation, but it's not gone so well. But I'm really hoping he can pick it back up, because he really deserves it. So next we have Louis Delatraz, and I'm going to put him in doing okay. And actually, from the top of my head, I kind of thought he hasn't done that well, but looking at his points, he's actually done okay, and I think a lot better than I thought in my head, like mentally, he's been doing. He's quietly and consistently getting points. He's just running about his business, you know, maybe like P8, P7, whatever he's doing. But I do expect him to do a little bit more. I really would like to see him on the podium. He is a contender for Haas in 2021, so he kind of does need to pull up his socks and do something good and make a mark in the championship, because as I said, he's quietly going about his business, but he does really need to get out there and show what he's worth, because he is an amazing driver. Next up is his teammate Pedro Piquet, and he's going in stinker. Pedro's had a really bad time. I didn't actually realise he had scored no points so far. It was like the reverse for him and Louis, because I actually thought that Pedro had done a little bit better than that, but he actually hasn't. He has scored no points so far, and it's just not been good. So hopefully he can live up to his name and the expectation. Obviously there is a lot riding on his back because of the name he's carrying, but I just hope that he can do something. I don't know whether it was a little bit too premature to bring him up from Formula 3, but he's up, and hopefully he can, you know, prove me wrong. So next up is Robert Schwartzman, and do you even need to guess where I'm putting him? He is going all the way up. Oh, I can't move him, hang on. He's going all the way up to the #1, and he's going to #1 because he is #1. And it's not even the fact that it's like, oh, I'm just going with the person who's at like the start of the championship who's leading. I think Robert Schwartzman is amazing. I've backed him for a couple of years now, and the way he drives a car is amazing. I think he's had 2 wins so far now, and all the other times he's been consistently in the points. He's been going about his business, doing what he needs to do, and it has been really, really good to see. I was quite sure he would probably dominate this F2 series like he did with the FIA Formula 3 last year, and he has proved his worth. He is absolutely incredible, so that is why he is my #1. Up next we have Marcus Armstrong's teammate in ART, and that's Christian Lundgaard, and I'm probably going to put Christian in You're Doing Amazing, Sweetie, because I think he is doing amazing. Like, I think he's, again, kind of not done anything too amazing. Obviously he has got his sprint race win in Styria, but he has been consistently in the points, apart from Budapest, which wasn't very good for him, but it also wasn't good for Marcus either. But he has just been doing everything he needs to do. Christian is a very level-headed driver. He is very, very fast, like there's no two ways about it, and he is definitely doing amazing. Next up we have Giuliano Alesi, and he's going in stinker. I kind of didn't expect much from Giuliano, and he kind of hasn't delivered anything either. HWA, to be fair, have not done very well this year. Obviously they've came up to the sport, taking the place of Arden, and I thought that they were going to do a lot better. They have got quite a strong lineup, you know. You've got a Ferrari Junior, and you've also got Artem Markelov, like the Artem Markelov, but it's just not been going great. Next on the list is Nobuharu Matsushita, and I am going to put him in stinker because he just has not performed in that MP. I don't know what's not working, but something just isn't coming together for him, and it doesn't reflect his ability at all, because he is such a good driver, but he's only scored points once in the whole 6 races, and it's just, I don't know why it's not coming together, because it's such a shame. And I saw someone do pre-season predictions, and they said they didn't have much expectation for Nobu, and I said, no, watch out for Nobu, he's so good at keeping the tyres alive when everybody else is dead. But actually he hasn't done too well, so hopefully he picks himself up when we go out to Silverstone next week. But yeah, not been great. So next up we have our lovely Brit Jack Aitken, but he is unfortunately going to go in. It's not going well because it isn't, and for Jack he's probably quite disappointed because this isn't going as well as he planned. He's been out of the points most weekends. I think the only points that he picked up was P6, and that was in the sprint race in Styria, and he should be up there fighting for the championship. I think a lot of people back Jack to be such a good driver, which he is. Obviously he is a Williams test and reserve driver. He's got a lot riding on him. He's been in Formula 2 for quite a while now, but it's not going his way so far. Nothing's really clicking. Obviously he's in that Campos, but he made the Campos work last year, so there isn't like that excuse of he's not in the ART anymore or whatever, but unfortunately it's not quite working. So Nikita Mazepin is next for High Tech, and he is going up into doing good. I think Nikita's doing really well. I think the first couple of rounds he didn't actually score any points, but Hungary was amazing for Nikita. Obviously we know he got onto the podium, he got up to P2, and I was so happy for him because last year he really struggled for ART. He did not have a good year, and it didn't represent how good he is of a driver. I think a lot of people only saw his series last year and thought, oh, this guy's awful and he's a pay driver, but he's not. He is such a good driver. My chair is really squeaking. He is a really good driver, and he deserves a lot more attention. He was amazing in GP3, and hopefully this weekend and the runs that he's just had really solidify his championship, and hopefully, you know, get him moving a little bit further forward, because he's a really good driver. Next up we have Mick Schumacher, and I am going to put Mick in You Are Doing Amazing, Sweetie. And I'm not just jumping on that bandwagon of oh, it's Mick Schumacher, so I'm going to put him really high, but I personally do think Mick has done really well. I arguably think he should have had 2 P3 places in Austria and in Styria, but unfortunately that didn't come his way. But he's been performing a lot better this year, a lot better. He's in exactly the same car as he was last year. Obviously he has got a more competitive teammate this year that probably helps, but I think that, you know, he's been doing really well. I really hope that he can continue this and live up to the name. As we know, he's got so much riding on his back. To have the Schumacher name, it's inevitable. He's going to have so much press on him, so I'm glad he's picked it up this year, and hopefully he can get some more points and get more podiums as well, because he did eventually get a podium at the weekend. So yeah, hopefully for Mick, he can continue like this and properly get up there with Robert and fight for the championship. Okay, so coming into our final 4 drivers, and the next is Dan Ticktum, and the very controversial man that he is. Personally, I love the man, and he's going in You're Doing Amazing, Sweetie. I love Dan Ticktum. I was so excited. I think most people knew how excited I was for Dan to come into Formula 2 this year. I know, as I said, he's controversial. A lot of people don't like him, but don't give him a chance. And I've been so impressed with Dan. His driving has been absolutely phenomenal throughout the whole weekends. I have been watching his onboards, and the way he is placing his car and the way he is driving around people is incredible. He had a P3 and got on the podium in Austria. He also had a P5. He has been running in the points every single race, apart from the sprint race in Budapest, where he had some issues and was falling back, but I think everybody was having issues in Budapest with the tyres. But Dan's been doing amazing. I think he's such a good driver. I really think he's going to be in right up there with a chance of, I mean, I say with a chance of getting the championship. I don't know whether he'll quite be up there, but he's definitely going to be at the top and one of the championship contenders, you could call him, but I don't quite think he's going to get it this year. Next up is Jehan Deruvala, or is it Duruvala? Duruvala? I say Jehan Deruvala. I don't exactly know which it is. And he's going in, it's not going so well. I was kind of on the edge of whether to put him in stinker or whether to put him in it's not going well, but he did have a better weekend in Hungary, but the other weekends he didn't score any points, and it's such a shame because, as we know, he is the driver who got P3 in the FIA Formula 3 Championship last year, and was actually very close to P2. It was only Marcus in the last couple of races that actually pipped him, but I expected more for him because he is such a good driver. I really expected him to do some more, but that Carlin just isn't clicking for him. as it isn't for Yuki, I guess, you know, other than that race that he got P2 in. So I'm hoping that Jehan gets up there a little bit more, because he really deserves it, and he is a good driver, and you know, I hope everyone sees that in Formula 2. So next up we have Luca Chiotto, and he is going to go in the same place as I put Nikita Mazepin, which is doing good, because it is actually the same situation as Nikita, where they had really bad time in Austria and in Styria, even though basically round 2 of Austria, but in Hungary they both picked up really nicely. And obviously Luca got that win in Hungary, which was absolutely amazing. He done so well with his tyres, so I'm really hoping he can carry on that form. I'm hoping High Tech can carry on that form, because I love their driver lineup this year. But I don't know, he's not quite You're Doing Amazing Sweetie, because the first 4 races were really bad. Well, not really bad, but they kind of were. But he's done well so far. And the last one is Callum Ilott, the Ferrari Driver Academy driver from UNI Virtuosi, and he is going, oh my gosh, I've just lost him. Where have I put him? Oh, he needs to go up one more. He is going in You're Doing Amazing Sweetie. I am so incredibly proud of Callum this year. He didn't really show his talent last year. Again, kind of like Nikita, where he done a lot better in GP3 than he did in his first year of Formula 2. Also, I do keep getting notifications come up on my phone from like the Formula 1 teams. I'm just going to leave them in, because they're just tweeting a load of rubbish. But Callum has done so amazing, like a lot better than what I thought he was going to do actually. I knew he's a good driver, but I didn't expect him to be that good, if that makes sense. I didn't expect him to really be up there fighting with Robert. Like, he is the closest championship title contender with Robert, and I didn't expect that, but I'm very happy it's happening. As we know, there's so many Ferrari juniors on this field that could easily get an Alpha seat next year, or even 2 Alpha seats next year, so they really are fighting for a Formula 1 seat. As we know, Callum won a race in Austria, and he was also very close to winning the race in Budapest, but we know Luca got that in the end. But yeah, I think Callum's done better than I ever expected, and I'm really happy about it. And can we just say, how good is this championship fight going to be this year, because it's going to be amazing. So here we are. This is my final tier list for how I would rate the Formula 2 drivers so far in the 2020 championship. I hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope it gave you a little bit more of an insight into how I think the drivers have done. Obviously Formula 2 is absolutely crazy, so different things are going to happen all the time. Half these drivers that I probably say have done an absolutely awful job may come up and, you know, be amazing in the next couple of weeks. We just don't know, because it's Formula 2, which is what I absolutely love about the series. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my kind of insights into it. I hope you got a little bit more of an idea of Formula 2. I know a lot of people are new into the series this year, so I hope you do enjoy it as much as I do. I hope this helped you a little bit on, you know, knowing who to look at for the championship. I would definitely watch out for Callum Ilott, Robert Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, Dan Tickton, people like that. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon for a brand new video.